AI adoption is accelerating, but so are fears about AI replacing workers. Is this the end of the road for knowledge workers? Fear is fueled by the misconception that there's only so much work to go around. So when new software does something cheaper, humans become obsolete, right? History tells a different story. Cost reduction from software automation tends to unlock latent demand. As the cost per unit drops, new demand can surge beyond productivity gains. Let's look at a few times when software innovation was a job multiplier. Here's the first of 4 case studies. IBM created software to enable real-time transaction processing and software to store and retrieve records. Then they combined them to create automated teller machines. Before ATMs became widespread, bankers' hours forced customers to adjust their schedules just to access their funds. And banks needed many tellers to count cash and verify signatures. So this restricted branch locations to big cities. ATMs revolutionized the banking industry. Since you could access your account without a teller, banking became a 24/7 service. Before ATMs, a metropolitan branch had to employ an average of 21 tellers. But afterward, that number dropped to 13. Because fewer tellers were needed per location, branches opened in small towns, grocery stores, and malls. So this software automation initially caused employees to fear for their jobs. It was going to be the end of the road for human tellers. But the number of branches grew faster than the reduction in tellers per branch. When software automates work, occupations often evolve. A teller shifted from being an operational expense to selling high-margin products as a personal banker. Let's look at another IBM innovation. A couple years earlier, they combined their transaction software and their database to launch their first barcode scanning system. Before UPC scanners, checkout lanes bottlenecked as cashiers read stickers and entered prices, and stores periodically closed so employees could count inventory. Therefore, most grocery stores were small mom-and-pop shops. After software enabled automated scanning, checking out was fast because cashiers scanned dozens of items per minute, and every scan instantly updated inventory counts. These efficiency gains gave rise to massive supermarkets. But unions initially feared that stores would cut half of their workforce. It was going to be the end of the road for cashiers. In reality, the innovation drove the expansion of the entire retail sector. When we look at the most common jobs 5 decades after scanners were introduced, cashiers are still number 1. Let's go back to when programmers first worried about losing their jobs. Fortran was the first successful high-level programming language. On the user guide, we see the phrase automatic coding system, which was marketed as a way to eliminate the need for expensive programmers. Before Fortran, the use of computers was confined to a group of experts who could write assembly code, like this example, which converts 70 degrees Fahrenheit into Celsius. With Fortran, anyone could use a computer because of the language's user-friendly syntax, like this example, which also converts 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And this caused job security fears. Tech companies told managers they didn't need to hire specialist programmers anymore. But software development became one of the largest and highest-paying professions in the world. Assembly coding was expensive, so software was only created for a few use cases, until high-level languages made it feasible to write programs for everything. Here's one more career that was on the endangered list. VisiCalc was the first spreadsheet app, and prior to its release, accounting clerks spent days calculating totals manually. VisiCalc established microcomputers as practical tools for business. The initial release of VisiCalc was for the Apple II, and then the floodgates opened. Microsoft released Multiplan for computers like the DEC Rainbow 100. Lotus 123 was launched for DOS PCs, and when Microsoft released its first version of Excel, which was for the Macintosh, the Washington Post declared, "The end is near." What previously took a team of accountants to accomplish could now be done by a single person. Spreadsheet apps automated their core task of calculation. But the workforce shifted from bookkeepers recording the past to financial analysts predicting the future. So history has a message for us. AI is following the same path as previous software revolutions, streamlining routine tasks while elevating occupations that rely on human insight and creativity.